Temperature is 17 degrees Fahrenheit, which is, I think, -4 or -5 Celsius. And because of the wind is 11 to 25 miles an hour right now, 11 to 24 miles an hour. So the wind chill is -17 degrees Celsius, which is only 4 degrees Fahrenheit. But it's beautiful out here. Look, you can see this little creek is freezing over. Annie's loving it. She's running up the trail. Annie loves the snow. That's part husky of her, I think. She really enjoys cold weather. Doesn't do well in warm weather. So, thanks for joining my channel where I talk about mental health and spiritual health. And today we're going to talk about people of encouragement. People of encouragement. And we're going to be in the book of Acts, chapter 11, starting at verse 19. Okay? The book of Acts, chapter 11, verses 19 through 26. So open up your Bible. While you're doing that, I just want to remind you guys that you can get some of this content too. I get a lot of my content, and I go live using the Our Daily Bread booklet. You know, helps me organize. You can read one small page per day. And that's what I like talking about here. Again, thanks for joining us. I wanted to do this when the sun's coming up here. I'll let you see this. There's Annie up here. You can see the sun coming up over the field. Annie's enjoying leaping over the grass. And then back here is the frozen creek. It's really, really beautiful out here right now. The top layer of the creek has a thin layer of ice. And we're going to have the ice here. Okay? Remember, Acts, the book of Acts, chapter 11. Let's see Annie trying to attack that somebody stood up. Maybe I stood it up last time we were here. But look at her trying to get at it. She's like, I got to knock down this tree that's holding up my big stick. Is that right, Annie? What do you say, Chief? Hey, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for joining. Hello, Elisa. Elisa, is that right? Thanks for joining. You can see it's very, very cold here. 17 degrees with 4-degree wind chill because the wind is whipped up here, which is minus 17 Celsius or something like that. Wind chill. It's really cold. Hey, man, serious question, Uncle T. Sure, go ahead. Message held for review. Yeah, you're a good guy. That was a terrible question. No, I don't, Uncle T. Learned a lot from a company that I work for. I'm going to talk about that today, actually. People of encouragement. All right. Acts chapter 11, verses 19 through 26. Key verse, verse 23. Barnabas encouraged them all to remain true to the Lord with all their hearts. Barnabas encouraged them all to remain true to the Lord with all their hearts. So he was encouraging a young Christian church in the city of Antioch, which, by the way, is where the term Christianity and Christians came from. But let's talk about a real world example here. JRR Tolken. Everybody knows who he is, right? Let me get past this tree. He wrote the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And he had a friend who he called Sheer Encouragement. And that was another author, C.S. Lewis. So, J.R.R. Tolkien, he typed up these manuscripts or stories multiple times. It was just painstaking and exacting. And he finally sent one to C.S. Lewis to review and read. And C.S. Lewis responded, "All the long years you have spent on it are justified. All the long years you have spent on it are justified." Now, he encouraged JRR Tolken to write that. Tolkien called them sheer encouragement. Now, I had something similar in my own life, a company that I worked for. Let's go back 30 years. That was about 30 years ago. And I was only at the company approximately a year or so. And I didn't know what I was doing yet. I'm just a lowly engineer. And I was kind of the interface between our overseas company headquarters, talking to a chief engineer who knew some English. And I reported not to my boss, not to my manager, not to my senior manager, but I reported to an executive over here in the US. And I was just telling him what was going on. And I was kind of admitting that I didn't know what the heck was going on. And he encouraged me to get more involved in this project that was honestly way over my head. Well, I realized that it was way over my head. And then I thought, well, maybe it's over everybody's head. So the next time I saw him, the executive, after he encouraged me to get involved, he said, "Don't worry about making mistakes, just learn from them. Just get involved." So I made a proposal to him. I said, "You know what? I think we're biting off more than we can chew." And him being from a foreign country, he didn't know what that meant. So I had a laugh. And biting off more than I can chew. So I had to explain to him, what that meant. I just said that, we're trying to do too much too soon, and I found out that we don't have any experience in this. The university that we're working with doesn't have any experience with this. So why don't we make something more simple? Let's make a box instead of a car with all these unique shapes around it. Let's make a metal box as a ground plane for the antenna and make a simple monopole antenna as opposed to a glass antenna with all these weird lines on them. I think you guys know a lot of cars now have a glass antenna where the antenna for the radio is built into the glass. Well, we were trying to do some work related to that. So I said, let's just build a simple box, a simple antenna, and then the noise that gets induced onto the antenna we were trying to prevent. Then we can run noise wires parallel and perpendicular to this antenna. Make it real simple. See if we can do that. See if we can simulate that. That's what we were trying to do, simulation work 30 years ago. And because it was so intensive, math intensive, we were using a Cray computer. Well, turned out we couldn't even simulate that. That was unfortunate. But the fortunate thing is, the executive taught me to be a little bit more sure of myself, encouraged me, made me feel positive about it. I know I saved the company time and money, probably a lot of time and money doing that. So that was an encouraging thing. And he had a real positive impact on my life. And I know you probably have had similar experiences as well. And that's what Barnabas was to the church in Antioch. He was a very encouraging person. Let me give you a little background on this passage too. And by the way, if you guys haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to my channel. Okay? But here, let me talk a little bit about Barnabas in this passage in Acts chapter 11. The interesting thing is it starts off where all these Jewish people who became Christians after the death of Christ scattered. after the death of Stephen, okay? And they went to Phoenicia, Cyprus, and Antioch, is what it says. Now, Stephen was one of the early Christian leaders in Jerusalem, but he was stoned to death because of Saul, who's also in this passage. And Saul was his name before he became the Apostle Paul. So Saul and Paul are the same people. But in this passage, oops, I dropped something. He's Saul. Here, check out Annie. Okay? The sun's coming up. I don't know if we'll be able to see it, guys, because of clouds. But Saul was the Apostle Paul. Okay? And because of him stoning Stephen to death, all these Christians fled to all these other cities. But then they started getting people to convert. And that's why Barnabas, whose real name was Joseph, but they called him Barnabas because of his encouragement. That means encouragement. He was an encourager. So Joseph or Barnabas went to Antioch. He encouraged these people. What do you see, Annie? And he encouraged the early Christians to keep going. And the interesting thing about this passage is that Barnabas then went and got Saul and brought Saul to Antioch. So can you imagine these people who fled Saul because he had Stephen stoned to death are now seeing Saul proclaim Christ as Lord and Savior of their lives. So he went from stoning people to supporting Jesus Christ after what happened to him on his way to Damascus. That's another story for another time. But that's so interesting that all this is in the same encouraging passage. So then Barnabas and Saul are there in Antioch with the early Christian church because they fled because of Saul in the first place. And Saul and Barnabas are now encouraging them in their walk of faith with Jesus Christ. So interesting. So going back to people of encouragement, Barnabas was a huge encourager of the early Christian church. And obviously so was the Apostle Paul. Look at how many letters he wrote. But think about who was a great encouragement in your life and how it made you feel, how positive and uplifting it is. So why don't you encourage somebody today? That's my challenge. Encourage someone today. Who can or who would you like to encourage? Even if you don't have a plan to see them today, give them a call, send them a text, do something, encourage somebody. And also, in what ways might you share God's love with them through a kind deed or word? So just through some simple act of kindness or kind word, you can also share God's love and encourage them at the same time. That's my challenge to you guys today. I'm going to work on that myself today. I appreciate you joining. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. It's where I talk about mental health and spiritual health. Please subscribe to my channel. I wish we could see the sunrise, but it's just too cloudy. I'll show you the beautiful snowy creek in the background instead. Please subscribe. When did I start this live, Camel Case? I don't know. I started it about 15 minutes ago. I'm trying to start it right around sunrise time if I can. That's my goal because then you can see me and then I can show you guys the sunrise. So sunrise always changes here in Columbus, Ohio. Obviously, it changes everywhere, right? By the day, a few minutes every day. So that's my goal. Hey, thanks, Camel Case, for joining. My dog's here. Actually, where's my dog? That's a great question. It's super quiet and she's gone. Annie! Let's find her. Let's find her. My hands are freezing, guys. It is 17 degrees Fahrenheit, 4 degrees wind chill, which is like minus 15 degrees Celsius wind chill. It's freezing, freezing, freezing here. Annie, where are you, babe? All right, let's scan for her, guys. You gotta tell me if you can see her. You can see the frozen creek in the background. My God, if she fell through the creek, that would be not good at all. All right, I'm gonna have to yell for her, so brace yourselves for a yell. Hey, Annie, come! Annie, come! Oh boy, you guys see the frozen creek? Isn't that cool? The snow on the fallen tree. I hear her. There she is. Annie, good girl, good girl. Hey, Annie. Hey, what's up? You jumping on me? Hey, do you like the cold? She likes the cold. I do not know how she does it. It's freezing, guys. Like, it is freezing. There she goes. Well, thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Share it with others. It's where I talk about mental health, being spiritual health. And it's gonna be snowing here in the next few days. We're not gonna get above freezing for a while. So you're gonna see lots of snow. And hopefully we'll see a sunset someday soon, or a sunrise, I'm saying. But there it is. The sun already rose, but it's difficult to see behind the trees and the clouds. But it's a beautiful day. How many subs do I have now? I think I have 111, which is actually pretty good. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for doing that. I really appreciate that. I'll come on live tonight too. Just, I think 8 p.m. is my target. So I'm usually on a little before 8 a.m. right now, Eastern time, when the sun rises. And then I'll be up again live at 8 p.m. Just trying to get live. I'm finally healthy again. I've had a lot of doctor's appointments recently, which is why I've only done one other live this week. But I should be good to go. I'm getting healthier. So I'm going to keep doing my lives in the morning and in the evening. But back to this Acts chapter 11. I'm encouraging you guys to encourage other people today, okay? Just think about how people have encouraged each other. C.S. Lewis encouraging J.R R Tolken, as I was talking about, who wrote the trilogy, The Lord of the Rings. And there was a big boss at my company a long, long time ago that encouraged me to think and act differently on the job. And I really appreciate that from him. And I want to try and encourage other people today. And I want you to do that too. Am I set on doing YouTube? Think it's going good? I don't know. What do you think, Camel Case? Do I just do my own live to my own website? Or what? I don't know how else to do YouTube. I'm not too sure. There's so many social media channels. YouTube is one of the biggest, right? It's the biggest search engine next to Google, so I kind of like it. What do you think, Camel Case? Look at Annie. Annie, what are you doing? Chewing a stick. Annie. Hey, Arr. Let's get the stick from her, guys. What do you think? Toss it. Give me that stick. Give me that stick. Get it. Come on. Go get it. Good girl. Good fetch. Okay, I'll try a little bit more professional videos. I'll do that. And especially maybe try the more unknown or mysterious sides of the Bible. Like what? That's interesting. Mysterious. Unknown or mysterious. I could try that as well. I'll try different things. See which one, you know, pops, I guess. It's so beautiful out here, guys. My gosh, it's freezing, but it's beautiful. I appreciate the feedback and you guys joining and subscribing. I'm going to show you. It's just so unreal out here. I'm waiting for Camel Case to hear about a mysterious side of the Bible. I don't really know mysterious sides of the Bible. They're not so mysterious to me, you know? There aren't a lot of mysterious parts of the Bible. But I mean, maybe to some people there are. I don't know. I'm still struggling with that one. I'd like to hear more Camel Case. But look at her. She just loves jumping around and picking up sticks. Look at that. I wish I could jump like her. I'm too old now. That's funny. All right, guys. I know you're still here. Some of you. I'd still like to hear the unknown or mysterious sides of the Bible. That would be interesting. What are you thinking? I need an example Camel Case because I'm not very sure on that. You could help me out. By mysterious, maybe some historical facts like early church, different sects and all. Okay, yeah, I'll look into that. I will try it. Maybe I'll start that one in the evening. I don't know. We'll see. Start something in the morning, stick with my book, and then try different things in the evening. But thanks for joining. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so, where I talk about mental health and spiritual health. And like we talked about today in the book of Acts, chapter 11, Barnabas, Saul, Paul, encourage other people today, okay? Just like people have encouraged you in your life, the examples I gave, JRR Tolkien, who wrote the Lord of the Rings trilogy, was encouraged by another author, C.S. Lewis. He called C.S. Lewis sheer encouragement. Let's try to do that today, okay? Encourage other people. And here's Annie one more time before we sign off. Have a great day, guys. Peace.